Hey, how's it going? I haven't worn the communist hat since the invasion, but guess what? This doesn't necessarily apply to Russia. This is a Soviet police hat, which applies to all the Soviet states, including Ukraine. So there's no shame in wearing it whatsoever. Soviet Union and Russia are two different places, and Russia wants to create a new Soviet Union, apparently. Will they succeed? No, I doubt it, but they're going to try. Anyway, I saw a really unusual vision testimony the other day. Something I don't normally watch or spend time doing. I used to back in the day, a few years back, especially when I was overly obsessed with iPad Go 2. Around 2018, I would watch a lot of these testimonies, these so-called end times testimonies of apocalyptic events and such. However, those have become quite rare for me to listen to. But out of curiosity, I listened to this story of this 16-year-old kid. And I could share it if you like, if anyone wants to see it. But I could tell you it's extremely annoying to listen to, not because of the kid, who is really in distress and quiet and crying a lot and is just in a totally terrible state, but because his uncle or whoever who keeps annoyingly calling him Poppy, um, just kind of ruins the thing because he's cutting him off constantly, spending way too much time talking, not letting the kid tell his story, his supposed vision. And I'm not one to discount people's visions because I recently shared a video of one of my own. So I can't sit here and poo poo other people's visions, but I'm taking his with a grain of salt, this kid, because it does sort of sound like a bad mushroom trip, or maybe he got too stoned. Why do I say that? Because I myself have had apocalyptic visions out of smoking too much marijuana. Like it could actually happen. You could have like a really bad time, and I haven't done that in an extremely long time. But I'm just saying, when I did, I would get asteroids and comets and all sorts of chaos just embedded in my mind for whatever reason. And but after listening to it some more, I've come to realize there's something more to this. There's some things that he described that are really weird. A lot of it is standard operating procedure, though. Cannibals, like I've mentioned today in the community posts. Basically, what he was saying was that the ring of fire like starts going off simultaneously, and all the volcanoes explode at once. But the amount of lava that's pouring out of this volcanoes are is so massive that it's creating entirely new land masses. I can concur because about a year ago I shared a really profound and deep dream where I saw the big island of Hawaii completely enveloped in molten lava. And when the island became completely just drowning in molten lava, all I saw was this massive explosion of white light that emanated everywhere. I will find the dream if anyone's interested in listening to it, those of you who might be new. But such things have been very prevalent in a lot of predictive programming, especially things like The Simpsons, um, lava covering the earth, things like that. He said that the USA basically degraded into total savagery and barbarism, which is to be expected in any decline of any civilization, and is commonplace in famines and throughout history. So that's nothing new. Um, you want to talk about Ukraine during the 1933 Ukraine famine? Cannibalism was very prevalent. There was millions who died in that famine, and cannibalism wasn't just sort of common; it was very common during that time. It's sad, but you know, you're not in the right state of mind in that sort of position. If an entire society just sort of plunges into barbarism, they sort of develop a mass psychosis, where everyone just goes insane simultaneously. And it's a really terrible thing to see. And this kid is associating it with the end times, but this is not the end times. This is a cyclical pattern that's been ongoing, which is what I'm going to get into next, what he talked about, which is about the gods. Now, that's what really, like, it clicked in my brain when he started talking about the gods. Now, what do I mean by that? He said that in Asia, India, China, for whatever reason in Asia, these gods, like, I don't know, Ganesh, Vishnu, Taoism, Buddhism, whatever it is, they came to life. They actually became alive, and people started worshiping them in these countries as America descends into barbarism and savagery. And that is super fascinating to me. And we're associating this with the end times. But don't forget how many past civilizations have made blood sacrifices to probably these same gods. Doesn't that make you wonder? And I really like this idea. I'm really fascinated by this idea of things remaining dormant, or our world remaining dormant. And whenever you look at things outside, you know deep down in your soul, it's not as it seems, it's not as it appears. There is an underlying dormant life force that's embedded into everything that you can almost sense comes to life every few eons or whatever the case may be. And these sort of deities and these beings, and Jay Dreamers and the Plasma Apocalypse talks about this as well. They come to life. And of course, the human race descends into this barbarism and chaos. And they see these gods amidst starvation, panic, and extreme hardships. These gods appear before them. The civilization is gone. The survivors, what did they do? They say, because of these gods, we survived and we will build a new world. And how is that really that far-fetched? Is that really that far-fetched? And in this case, in our case, we might have the arrival of the super god, right? Or what we call the antichrist, the eye, or the eye on top of the pyramid, the headstone, um, the what do you call it? You know what I'm talking about. The All right, let's just move on. In a previous video, I was talking about the top stone on the pyramid is the awakening eye of the god. Or in the video where I was talking about the vision on the airplane, the eye of the god awakens and it becomes illuminated. And basically, since this boy basically mentioned these gods, what if this eye, its illuminating energy, awakens the other gods? Shiva in iPad Go 2, or Kali rather, dancing. What if Kali's dancing right now as we speak? She's one of the first to be awakened, one of the first to sort of come to life to bring about this. It's a locking mechanism. That's how I see it. In the movie Hellraiser, Pinhead, they had this magic box, right? And it was kind of like a puzzle where you would unlock this box and it would open a gateway or portal. That's how I see these eclipses, by the way. And in CERN, you have Shiva and the ring of fire around her. I'm sorry, somebody just came home, so I apologize for that. So I'm gonna get interrupted, but I'm not gonna stop. So and she's like in this ring of fire in CERN, right? And I'm making a video, so I'm not gonna stop now. I'm 11 minutes in, so sorry. So Shiva's in this ring of fire, and there are these nodes on the ring of fire, and I think each one of these nodes represents one one of these mechanisms that's unlocking. Let's look at it like a cipher, right? Or a portal or a gateway opening is like this vast cipher, and you have to sort of speak the cipher to unlock a certain node. And I think that these eclipses that we're seeing is sort of a celestial representation of these nodes on the ring of fire unlocking until all of them unlock and this gateway is fully open and the eye on top of the pyramid is illuminated entirely, awakening the other gods, awakening the ring of fire, and the reset begins. The real reset begins. And this was actually really well depicted in the Ghostbusters movie, the new Ghostbusters movie, which is just a crazy movie that I really recommend you see. That's exactly what the movie is about. It's not about Ghostbusters, it's about unlocking these portals, unlocking this portal deep in the earth to awaken the gods. That's what that movie was about. It was actually really well made, a really good movie. And when this kid said this, that in Asia, these gods come to life and they're worshipped, it hit home to me. It hit home to me that this is what past civilizations have done. Like, isn't it just really stupid to do? Like, were the Aztecs or the Mayans, for example? Do you really think these people were dumb? No, they were absolutely brilliant. And the fact that they were using blood sacrifice, they knew that it actually meant something because they knew that these gods that they're giving the sacrifices to were real, and they are real, and they're going to awaken out of the molten lava. They're going to awaken. They're going to energetically receive their power again. They're going to come out of the earth once the illuminated eye shines on the world, which is also going to be worshipped. Depicted very clearly in Justin Timberlake's Supplies video, which I made several videos of a long time ago, where you had dollar bills burning all over, and you have hordes of people, and the capstone, that's what it was called, the capstone of the pyramid is shining brightly, and they are bowing down to the capstone, the main god of the gods, and the gods are crazy. The gods must be crazy. They demand worship. Any god who demands worship isn't a god, it's a false god. God just is, forever, always was, and always will be. Anyway, if anyone is interested in actually seeing the video or his testimony, just fair warning, it's extremely annoying. Not because of the kid, but because of his uncle, Poppy, or whatever. Poppy, Poppy, Poppy. So Speaking of eclipses, I guess it's happening right now. And instead of looking at it as the event itself, or, eventually we'll get through enough of these eclipses to where all the nodes on the Ring of Fire open, and that so-called main event will come to fruition. What year or when that'll be, I don't know exactly. Um, but I do think there's a connection with these eclipses and the unlocking of this cipher to unlock Pandora's box, the magic box, Jack in the box, to fully open the illuminated gateway, to release the giants from the earth, who will wreak havoc upon the earth in order to destroy what's old and create what's new. And it's not new. I think this has happened many times, and many channels talk about this. This is not new. This is a cyclical pattern. And we feel deep inside, I think we feel that we know that. I really do.